Welcome to Goddess Behavior, the podcast where ancient myths meets modern main character energy.
We're your hosts, Steph and Laura.
Mythology made easy. No textbooks, just great stories, hot takes, and some unhinged ancient audacity.
So pour a drink, fix your crown, and step into your mythic era.
This is Goddess Behavior.
We're
Okay.
here. Episode 3.
Yep. Are we ready to discuss whether they're monstrous or misunderstood?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what makes a monster?
What I think of, first childhood memory of monster, right? I think of the Wicked Witch.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
Or
any Disney mother.
It
seems
enough.
weird.
Maleficent.
But
Maleficent was a big one.
Yeah, or the evil queen, or and even the word itself, monster, in Latin, it comes from somewhere totally different than what we have in our head. It comes from the word monstrum, which translates to a warning or to remind you of something.
Yeah.
So a monster isn't necessarily scary. It's just has a purpose, a specific purpose.
Serves.
Yeah. Which I thought was interesting because we always think of monsters as being the villains in the story.
The bad guy. Yeah.
Right. It's automatically pinned that way, which it doesn't have to be. So
right.
I thought that was an interesting way to look at it. Even in ancient texts, it's considered a sign or an omen or unusual, meant to be drawing attention to you that you're unusual, but not necessarily that it's bad.
Yeah, I think what we see in a lot of these older stories in particular are that monsters sort of disrupt the order. They disrupt the stability and order that these sort of societies valued and then are labeled monsters.
Yeah. That seems to be the common theme, as we'll get into, but it's not necessarily their fault that they're labeled that way. Sometimes they're just an outsider. It's no more than that.
They don't necessarily fit into that
status quo. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's all about labels, which
it really is.
As we were talking about last episode, the PR is everything. So
truly, how you frame the situation
and who dictates who frames it. Because sometimes it's not always in
is important.
Their control, right? And a lot of the times the monsters are created by the people who are wronging them.
Yeah.
No, so it's fun to look at each story and decide for yourselves what you think.
Yeah. And that's kind of what we've done here is we've chosen,
some examples.
As examples here to sort of
show you different
the perspectives and different monsters who maybe were mislabeled.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start with Medusa.
All right. Well, so for us, Medusa's story shows us what happens when survival is punished after the fact. So she's a victim who becomes the villain to protect someone else's power, which I think, again, most people who have seen Hercules, Medusa is an image that is used frequently enough to where I know that you've seen the head with the snakes.
Right.
And whether that's portrayed from Percy Jackson or Hercules, whatever it is, you've seen her face used and maybe misused.
Yeah. She's definitely a more well-known monster
she's a common
of mythology.
One, so we figured we would start
She's a good place to start, for sure.
So in Greek mythology, Medusa is remembered as this terrifying gorgon whose gaze would turn people to stone. But her story is definitely more complex than that. Medusa was originally a mortal woman who served in the temple of the goddess Athena.
Okay.
And she was expected to live a life of devotion and purity, but her life changes dramatically when she is visited by the sea god Poseidon, who assaults her within Athena's temple.
Okay.
So rather than punishing Poseidon,
the one who actually did the wrongdoing,
right? Athena responds to this by transforming Medusa into something monstrous, if you will.
Because of course we're going to blame the woman in this situation.
The woman is the problem there. Her hair becomes those writhing massive snakes, and her face becomes so terrifying that anyone who meets her gaze is instantly turned to stone.
Okay.
The transformation isolates her then
Mhm.
from human society and effectively condemns her to live as a creature that people fear. And what we see in these other Greek stories are
Yeah.
that she's hunted.
Right.
All because
Of somebody else, like, it's
somebody
all
else's
because of his
transgression. It's interesting
of
that we start with that.
circumstance. Yeah, not because she actually did anything. That's so crazy.
She's banished to a remote region, often described as the edge of the world, and she becomes one of the Gorgons. So the monstrous beings whose powers make them feared and just kind of interesting. So her gaze creates a landscape of stone victims from the people who try to approach her.
It makes me think of Percy Jackson and like the
totally. Picture the statue,
all the statue graveyard. Yeah. And he's like, what is going on in here? Yeah.
So, I mean, so what we see is eventually Medusa becomes the target of a heroic quest.
Mhm.
So we see young Perseus, who was sent to kill her, and a
Oh,
task.
Percy. Okay.
But
got
like
it.
Percy Jackson.
I don't know why that's just now like connecting the dots. Yeah.
Son of Poseidon,
Right.
ironically.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know why this all is just connecting to me now. But anyway.
So Perseus is sent to kill her, a task that really is supposed to be deemed impossible because you can't look directly at her without turning to stone. And so he receives help from the other gods. Athena gives him like this polished, reflective shield.
I thought Athena was our girl's girl. Apparently not.
Yeah, apparently
not with her.
No, she really did not like Medusa.
Yeah.
Did not like her.
Okay.
She just liked Poseidon. I don't know. It's like jealous.
It seems weird. Yeah, definitely seems weird.
So he's given this reflective shield, and Hermes gives him this curved sword, and he's given the winged sandals. He's given this special bag that can hold her head, and and all these things that are allowing him to approach the Gorgons.
So basically, they're giving them. He's giving all the cheat codes, all the things that he could possibly need in order to make him succeed. An impossible task, or what should be considered
what is deemed an impossible task. Yeah. So Perseus finds Medusa sleeping, and using the reflection in Athena's shield, guides his aim and strikes without ever having to even look at her. And so he cuts off her head with a single blow. But even in death, this is I don't know. This is again one of those stories where you're like,
how?
What? This is illogical, but okay.
Yeah.
So Medusa's body produces something, extraordinary. So from her blood that spills from her neck, come these two beings who, one of which I think is commonly known, right? But these are two beings conceived with Poseidon. So the winged horse, Pegasus, who we definitely see later on.
Yes.
Pegasus, our cute little flying horse.
I love little flying horse with blue hair.
And then the warrior Chrysaor.
Okay.
So again, it says conceived with Poseidon.
So
I don't know if they were
not to be weird here, but like
hung on to all this time.
How did that happen? It's magic.
There are so many of these stories where you're just like, yeah,
okay, sure. You just have to accept it for what it is. There's no logic here.
But that is the story.
Which our brains as mercurial people it's very hard. Yeah, we have to move on.
Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I need an answer, Laura.
I would love an answer. I would. I would love to give everyone an answer.
I know, truly.
But yeah, so I mean, these two beings come from her severed head.
Yeah.
And he then continues to use that head to turn his enemies to stone.
So it still works even when it's not attached.
Head cut off, still turning people to stone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So eventually he gives the head to Athena, who places it on her shield, transforming Medusa's terrifying power into the symbol of divine protection that we see. Then her head is used as a symbol on her shield.
Wow. Okay.
Bold.
Athena.
Truly bold.
Mad at you right now.
And so in this way, we sort of see Medusa's story moving from beauty to monstrosity to weaponized power. Like she literally, even in death, is still sort of the villain of her own circumstances. Like it's wild.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like she just is truly given such an unnecessary punishment for
Yeah.
something that is like a traumatic thing for her.
The whole thing had to have been incredibly
Like the
traumatic
initial like
and
assault, and then she gets punished for something that
punished,
is she's the victim
isolated.
of.
Yeah.
That's not
All
cool.
because
Not
Athena
cool, man.
Athena didn't like her. Athena was like, "Nope, not in my temple."
No,
And
that's
I don't know.
bizarre. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, well,
I know. So what's fun, kind of fun. I don't know. Now you think about it, it's like,
not really
oh,
so fun. Yeah,
yeah, it's
actually.
like, oh. Um, but so today we see one of our famous fashion brands, one of the most famous ones in the world.
Mhm.
They use her face as their logo. So
Yeah, which like Athena uses it. Now I really don't like Versace. I didn't really like it
a
before.
top fave.
Hot take.
Yeah.
It has its place, but it's
Yeah.
not my
It's not
favorite
one
to
of my
begin with
favorites. Yeah.
by any means. Yeah.
If I were going to reach for a luxury brand, it wouldn't be this. Yeah.
Now
Right. It's like,
it's not my
man.
style to begin with, and then
Yeah.
now I really don't like it.
Versace is the one with the big gold Baroque prints.
Yes.
Which is sort of just not my style.
Also
Anyway, which
not
is just
again.
why,
Yeah,
yeah.
not for me.
But they built their entire logo around Medusa. So
Which she's powerful, so that part I can understand why they would use it. Like
Yeah.
she's very forceful in her imagery, so and people recognize her.
Yeah. And I think it's the whole thing. Like once you've looked at her, you can't look away.
Oh yeah,
Like, right?
well, when you
are
wear
literally
Versace,
stone.
you cannot look away.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
It's noticeable. Yeah, it's flashy.
Yeah, it's flashy. Yeah,
it's the gold and sort of like all of that.
All the pattern
is
and
very noticeable.
Yes. I mean, it's
very on brand. Yeah,
it's on brand for what it. Yeah, it's definitely definitely good marketing tactic. But now
Absolutely.
I really don't
but
like
now
Versace.
You're like, man,
I'm
she
mad.
Was really right.
Athena wronged her, and now everybody is using her wrong,
which is wild because Athena is so like revered.
Athena,
and I actually defended her in our last episode where I was like, "No, you be the leader."
Well, see, this is why, but this is why it's important we get all context because that shows that they're not perfect.
Yeah.
Like we think of the goddesses as being these perfect
beings,
she
and
can be
this head of state.
And still make bad choices.
And still,
for sure, sure, I agree.
She's just not a girl's girl.
Yeah,
as it turns out.
No, well, there you go.
She prefers warriors.
Yeah, I guess so. Okay, so now
I guess our next monster we're jumping into is Fenrir.
Yeah, so Fenrir is from Norse mythology, and he's a giant wolf. He is the son of Loki and the giantess Agrabota.
Yeah,
don't know if that's the right way I pronounce that,
right
but anyway,
on.
and he basically embodies raw, uncontrollable power and chaos. More chaos.
Just
a lot of chaos.
Lots of chaos happening here. Primal chaos.
And he essentially is labeled this like villain or monster because he is prophesized to eat Odin essentially, or kill him, I should say. Kill him.
Problematic.
And at Ragnarok. So he's essentially killing the king of the gods at the end of the world. And that's where his origin story begins.
Wow.
So he is one of 3 infamous children of Loki and Agrabota, and his siblings are just as unsettling as he can be. So Jormungandr is the serpent that is destined to encircle the earth at Ragnarok. So if you think of like the snake eating its tail, like that's what he is. He's a sea serpent. And Hel is his sister, who eventually becomes the goddess of death. From the moment they're born, the gods of Asgard are like, whoa, hear this prophecy of how all their kids are like a problem, essentially.
Leave it to Loki.
Yeah, truly. So they decide to separate them. Jormungandr is thrown into the ocean. Yeah. And Hel is sent to the underworld. So she rules the underworld. She's the goddess of death. She's the Hades of Norse mythology. Yeah. So, and which is always interesting too, of being a goddess versus a god, because it's such a big territory, right? And it's an interesting thing with the Valhalla and Freya's realm also. So you have like the warriors, but then you also have the underworld for the people who weren't. So it's not necessarily a bad place again, but just, not for somebody who's like honorable in battle.
The warriors were honored highly
in a different place.
Yeah, so it was separate.
Right. Again, showing what they valued. So Fenrir the wolf is brought to Asgard, and at first the gods try to raise him amongst them, and Fenrir grows at an unusual rate, and he just becomes bigger and stronger every day. So soon the gods become afraid of the creature that they themselves have raised, and one of the only god that is brave enough to feed him is Tyr, the god of war, law, and justice. And Fenrir grows, as he grows stronger, the gods decide that he has to be restrained in some way, which is really sad. This is a big puppy dog. That's what I think of.
Big
He
dog.
doesn't know.
Yeah.
And the gods challenge Fenrir to prove his strength by breaking the chains that they set up for him. So the first they use a heavy iron chain called the lading, and Fenrir snaps it easily, like not a problem for him.
Yeah.
And then they forge a stronger one called the dromi, and he also breaks that one. So they're doing everything they can, but it's just no ordinary chain is going to do it.
Yeah.
So then they commission the dwarves. So think like dopey, sleepy, happy dwarves, which dwarves are one of the realms in Norse mythology. So like I talked about last episode, there's the 9 different realms. Dwarves is one of them. Yeah. And they create Gleipnir, a magical ribbon that looks soft and harmless, but is stronger than any metal.
Wow.
And it's made from crazy ingredients. So it's magic, right? It's made from the sound of a cat's footsteps, a woman's beard, the roots of mountains, the sinews of bears, the breath of fish, and the spittle of birds.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, it sounds like a witch's brew. You're like, what's happening?
You're making Polyjuice potion. That's what it is.
Yes. Exactly.
And you're like, okay, I don't know how I'm going to find all this, but sure.
Yep. All right. Where's Snape's cabinet? I need it. So then they present the ribbon to Fenrir, and he becomes very suspicious. He's like, don't like that. Don't like the ribbon. Not my vibe. Not my style.
I don't know where that.
Yeah. And he senses it's a trap, and he demands. He makes a demand that one of the gods place their hand in his mouth as a sign of good faith. Basically saying, if you're not actually going to do anything bad to me, give me your hand and I will use it as leverage.
Yeah.
And only Tyr agrees because he's the only one that feels comfortable enough to feed him, let alone do something like this. And it makes you really sad because he's the only one that he's the one that volunteers to do it, and he knows that he's going to betray him.
Yeah.
And when Fenrir realizes he can't break the ribbon, he finally understands that he's betrayed and bites down on Tyr's hand and tears it off.
Yeah, wow.
Which, fair enough. Yeah. And from that moment, he's bound until the end of the world, essentially. And when Ragnarok begins, the chains finally break. Not really sure how, actually, not really sure why. I guess it's fate related. Yeah. And he runs free across the world with his jaw so wide, it stretches from the earth to the sky. Like, that's how massive he is.
Yeah.
And he devours Odin, fulfilling the prophecy that the gods tried so desperately to prevent.
Wow.
All that time. But Odin's son, Vidar, the god of vengeance, specifically, avenges Odin by tearing Fenrir's jaws apart, which is like aggressive, and I don't know how he did that. And that's when Fenrir falls. So pretty much he is punished for a crime that it didn't even happen yet. Like he was
punished before
he did anything
given a chance
to prove that he wouldn't do it. Yeah. And the big thing that I kept coming back to was, did they create their own problem?
Yeah.
Because he didn't necessarily have to turn out that way.
Yeah, it's not like he wanted to bite Tyr's hand off.
Right.
Clearly that was someone that had been trusted in that environment. And again, he's a wolf. Like, I feel like he only can understand so much. Like, from what I understand, it's not being told that he's anything more than just a giant wolf. Well, and then
so in my mind, it's not like he can reason further than that, where he'd be like, oh, okay, I understand why you're doing it, even if I don't agree with you.
Well, and even then, that's still not his fault. He was raised with the gods up to a certain point until they decided, now
he's getting too powerful and too uncontrollable, and we don't want to get to a point where you're just going to be loose in the world.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, restraining him may have caused their own problem, because now he's pissed at them.
Like, why didn't they restrain Loki? Loki causes
So
problems.
Loki is a problem.
He's,
Always.
I mean, just
He's his
like,
dad, so.
right. It's like, all right.
Yeah, I know. So, yeah, he just represents the uncontrollable future and fate and
Yeah.
how everything in consequence, for that matter, the
Yeah.
consequences of what the gods decided to do. And we will never know, unfortunately, whether a different approach would have created a different outcome.
Right.
And it's interesting how, Odin's so controlling of this fate, but he makes a decision that's questionable, and it might have cost him everything.
Huh.
Yeah. He's not chaos, he's just consequence.
Yeah. And I think we're seeing this regularly here.
Yeah.
Even, 3 episodes deep, is these gods really feared prophecy.
Yes.
There were a lot of things that, like, oh, it was prophesized. Let me change everything to prevent this.
Which
And
prophecy is weird, because you would think you're told you can't change fate, but then they're trying to change fate all the way at the
actively
time.
try to fight it.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because it just ends up happening anyway.
I guess it is showing humanization of the gods, though. Like you're
Ooh.
humanizing them, because even they
Cannot.
want to try to make fate different.
And they can't.
And you can't.
Yeah, you can't escape it.
No.
Right.
Or at least it doesn't seem that way yet. Maybe there's a situation that we'll come across as we go forward where we'll find.
I'm interested to see.
Yeah, now that I think about it, I'm like, I can't think of an example, but maybe we'll find one, or maybe our listeners have an idea that we don't know about, of where somebody's changing their fate.
Changed their fate.
Yeah.
Was able to change fate.
I mean, I know in the movie Hercules he kind of does, but I don't know if that's like accurate to myth. We'll have to get into that in another episode.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think everybody has actually seen, or a lot of people have seen Fenrir in the Marvel movies, in Thor Ragnarok. So he is serving Hela, which is hell in Norse mythology. Obviously, the movie is not, and the universe itself is not particularly strict with following Norse mythology, but it's very strongly based off of it. Yeah, the core idea remains the same, that he's this world-ending wolf tied to Ragnarok. And he's also in God of War Ragnarok, which is a video game that I didn't know about, and Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So he's a boss tied to Norse prophecy. So he's not a wolf in that one, but it's interesting how he shows up in other places with the same common thread.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have tattoos of Fenrir.
Wolf.
Lots of them.
Yeah,
it's because he's such a
very popular imagery
for Vikings in general. Yeah. I guess it's just this powerful symbol, for them.
Wild.
Yeah.
Untamed
exactly.
Sort of power. Yeah.
So Fenrir was bound to what he might become, chained to prophecy and fear of the future, right? But what if not all monsters are created by the gods and by fate? What if it's much closer to home? Some of them are created closer to home by broken promises, violated trust, and quiet betrayals of intimacy.
Ooh,
and that leads us to...
So as we go closer to home, we're going to shrink our scope here a little bit. And so now we're talking about a figure in folklore.
Yeah.
Which is something I think we've been wanting to tie in here for a little bit.
For sure, because there's so much, not even overlap, but similarity between stories, and they're just as interesting as mythology.
Yeah,
so I think,
and these figures face sort of this same
trials.
So Melusine we see her in sort of this medieval European folklore. And I say European because there are varying versions of her that appear in coastal European cities.
And I think Western European, if I'm incorrect.
Specifically Western European.
So like France and modern day France and Germany-ish, Luxembourg.
And UK,
something.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Like the coast.
So that coast.
Areas.
Yeah.
And so imagine a woman so enchanting that she could charm anyone, yet so mysterious she's feared as a monster.
Oh, okay.
So Melusine is one of those legends.
Quiet. Has a day off.
Right. It's one of those legends that blurs the line between monster and muse. She's a beautiful woman with a secret. She's cursed early on by her own mother.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Again, betrayals of parents.
Because she tried to defend her mother against her father.
Okay, sure.
The father ends up casting them out, and
then her mom's mad because
she's been cast out. Is mad because she's been cast out and curses her own daughter. Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. So she is cursed with this half serpent, half human form.
Okay.
And
which half? I'm just kidding. She's supposed to be beautiful. I was
She's
totally
beautiful.
joking.
Yeah. So like top half is, I mean, gorgeous. Like
Yeah.
they all, everything of her is just like how beautiful she was.
Yeah. If you
And
think of it the other way, it's funnier. That's why I had
yeah,
to say it.
she would never marry then.
I know. Well, men are easy creatures. Okay.
That's true. Yeah. We won't discount that
No.
actually. Just maybe. So she is cursed to transform into that serpent from the waist down, specifically on a certain day.
Okay.
So our translation says Saturdays. So we'll
Okay,
just
sure.
continue with
Yeah,
that,
weekend.
right?
Yeah.
So she marries a mortal man under the condition that he never sees her in this true form. So she's like, all right, give me one day. No
Yeah.
one look at me. Don't come, like, don't talk to me. Like, give me one day.
Just leave me alone.
Yeah. Like,
this is very relatable. Very relatable.
She just needs
Yeah.
a day.
Yeah.
And so she like makes him promise
He'll leave her alone.
he'll leave her alone. Yeah. So far from being purely evil, Melusine is sort of this magical protective figure. She builds castles. She builds prosperity. She watches over her family. And then she's betrayed.
Yeah.
So, of course, the curiosity gets the better of her husband.
Of course, because I think it would be hard.
I think it would be hard. I don't know. For me, I just like level with him. I'm like, hey,
also,
I need this day. Like, just respect.
Well, that's I wonder if there was like a stipulation
problem.
Yeah, I was gonna say this sounds like a very short conversation that they could have had. Like, I can't like.
But maybe it wouldn't have been.
I'm thinking she couldn't.
I don't
know.
Yeah.
She couldn't tell him.
I don't think she could have,
because I think he would have again been too curious, or he would have been afraid, or he would have been like, "You're a monster."
Men get
from the
really
beginning.
Insecure when they're afraid. I don't think it would have gone well.
Very true. Yeah. So I'm thinking that she was afraid to tell him because she was worried about how he'd react.
Totally. What ends up happening is he walks in and he sees her in this form and is just like angry, like loses his mind.
Which is exactly how she thought he would react. Yeah.
He disappears into the sea, said to never be seen again.
Oh, sad.
She's not necessarily a villain. She's a cautionary tale about curiosity, trust, and sort of this fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
And, he just
curiosity
let
getting the better of you.
The best of him.
Yeah.
Melusine becomes monstrous the moment her boundary is crossed. When love turns into sort of this surveillance and curiosity becomes control. But some betrayals don't just exile you. Some cast you into the depths and expect you to disappear. So Melusine represents multiple ideas in folklore. So she's this mystery and enchantment. She's a figure of allure, temptation, also a little danger, right? He didn't know what she was doing that day. He's like, wait a second. Duality, which is interesting. So this sort of human and supernatural, beauty, fear. We see a lot of this.
Yeah.
In particular in this episode, but as we move forward, there's a lot of that between love and tragic, beauty, fear, female power. So she's independent, she's magical, she's not really controllable by a man because no one could control her transformation, right?
Yeah.
And she is nature and water. She's linked to river and springs, castles near water, and she's a spirit of natural forces.
Okay. And I think she is a well-known face, believe it or not.
Oh, yeah.
Because people might not have heard her name before, but I think they've seen
I can
an idea
you've
of what she looks like
driving down,
whatever
the road, on a sign, maybe even
like a green and white one.
Yeah,
maybe
one of our favorites, honestly, is turns out Melusine is the face of Starbucks. So she is that like the Starbucks woman. With the double tail and the double tail coming up on both sides. So you see her. I see her on my cup.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
And again, I think it's interesting how they're using her image. She's again this symbol of like power, right?
She brings power where she is, but it's again like we were talking about. There's this duality with her where she also does bring destruction.
Right.
So it's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I just took it as like Starbucks is this coastal town.
Oh, totally. Yeah. It's mermaids. Yeah, that's the idea.
I don't know that they put that much thought into it.
No, probably not. You never know.
Men.
Yeah. True. It's funny. There's a lot of different examples of how mythology shows up in like our day-to-day life,
Yeah,
which we
like
again could
branding
be something we
or
get into in another
yeah,
episode, but there's a lot.
there really is.
So speaking of casting into the depths,
Ah, yes.
Sedna, she is the goddess of the sea and marine life, and is considered the mother of the sea, which I will explain.
Yeah.
She's from Inuit mythology,
Mm.
so think Eastern Russia, Alaska, Northern Canada, Greenland, Inuit, indigenous people. She rules over the depths, controlling the creatures that sustain human life. So think seals, fish, and whales. So anything that these Inuit people would have hunted. She's labeled as a vengeful sea being who withholds food and can bring famine.
Ah,
Where if you understand her story, which you will after I tell it, you will understand why that's the case. Her myth starts out with that she just doesn't want to get married. Again, relatable. So Sedna is often described as a young woman who rejects every man that her father brings her as a suggested husband, which, don't tell me what to do. So in different regions, the story is slightly different. So similar actually to like a folklore story in this Inuit mythology, because it's so spread out, it varies depending on who's telling it. But the core of the idea is the same, is that she just is not having anything to do with getting married. Eventually, a mysterious stranger arrives promising wealth and comfort. In some versions, he's a handsome hunter, and in others, he's in disguise. Sedna agrees to marry him because she's probably just like, enough.
fine.
But before she gets to his home, she discovers the truth. He is a bird spirit, often a raven or a fulmar, living on a barren island. She's absolutely miserable and she's starving and just is not happy. And then a storm comes, and Guta, who's the great creator god, and her father eventually returns to rescue her. They escape on a boat across the sea, but the bird husband summons a violent storm. The waves rise so much that they're threatening to sink the boat. In panic, Sedna's father throws her into the ocean to lighten the load, because that's, of course, what you would do.
So
and
logical.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I guess it was to save himself. When she tries to climb back in, he chops her fingers off.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
What a great dad of the year.
Yeah, for sure. As her fingers fall into the water, they transform into the sea animals. So that's where you get the animals from. Each joint becomes a different sea creature: whales, seals, walruses, fish, anything related to
like the Arctic.
To the Arctic, yeah. Sedna then sinks to the bottom of the ocean and transforms into the powerful undersea ruler that she is now.
Oh.
Yeah, so her role in Inuit belief is that she's not just a mythological figure, but hunters believe that if people break the taboos or disrespect the animals, that she gets angry and holds the sea creatures captive in her hair beneath the ocean. And shamans will like spiritually travel into the underwater realm and go and detangle her hair with the comb, and in order for her to
let the creature
something that she couldn't do herself because her fingers are gone.
Oh my god.
I know, it's terrible. And once she's calmed down, then the animals go back to like their rightful day-to-day action, essentially, and then hunting becomes possible again. So like, it's just don't piss her off and then she's fine. But she also like
comb her hair for her. It's not her fault.
Yeah, exactly. She can't brush it without her
she
fingers.
Doesn't have fingers. Oh my gosh.
I know. So essentially, like, she is deceived, abandoned, mutilated. There is nothing good that can, like, she just has gotten, again, short end for no reason. And her own dad, and her transformation is forced. It is not chosen.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't get to choose. She's just thrown in and it happens. And she has no choice at all. And why she's threatening is because she remembers what happened to her.
Yeah.
And she's like, if you don't respect my boundaries and over consuming the ocean and all of these things, then I'm out. I'm going to withhold what I have to give to you. I'm not sharing.
And with that level of betrayal, it's like, what else do you expect?
Right. And the ocean is not something that humans can control. So that's what
Totally.
she is a
Yeah.
reminder of to
Yeah.
the Inuit people.
And I think we see that in a lot of places
Mm-hmm.
is where the water is meant to be respected.
A
It's
hundred
like a
percent.
mutual respect
Yeah.
thing.
I mean, like the way I kept going back to it was like, oh, she's like the first like environmentalist, like,
Oh,
what,
yeah.
or like, save the turtles. She even comes up as like symbols in a scientific or environmental services. Like she comes up in as a representation of that. She's even been used as the name of a dwarf planet in our outer solar system, like out after Pluto. We
Yeah.
have a planet that's called 90377 Sedna. Why it has to have the
Oh.
number, I don't know.
Yeah, not sure.
Yeah, so they chose the name because Sedna is the Inuit goddess of the deep ocean, and this object exists in the cold, dark depths of space, far beyond Pluto.
Yeah. And definitely not controllable.
It's the most distant known object in our solar system. So
Wow.
she's as far out as you can get.
Yeah.
And she also just appears in different Inuit art that represents environmental protection, like
Yeah.
ocean preservation.
Nice.
And so she doesn't show up in superhero movies the way that Fenrir does, but she does something even cooler. And she's literally in the distant space is named for her. So it's super
Yeah, that's
cool.
pretty cool.
Yeah. So those are our stories. I think the common theme is that they
don't start as monsters.
No, none of them do.
Yeah.
Not one starts off that way.
Right.
Even like a Melusine, for example, that maybe is not all human. She still
is able to create these sort of successful realms. So
Right.
she builds castles, she bears children,
Mhm.
she, marries these wealthy men.
Yeah.
And like lords, nobles. If that's not good enough,
Yeah, exactly.
to give her one day.
She just needs a one day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess like monsters are not born, they're created.
Yeah.
I would
say
it's the
so.
common thread between all of them.
Right.
It's when power feels threatened, exposed, or is being held accountable.
The accountability is a hard one for leaders, and I think we'll continue to see that as we talk about other gods. And
Yeah,
goddesses,
definitely. When they make a mistake, they don't like to own up to
they
it.
don't like to be like, "Ooh, my bad."
Yeah.
They like to put it onto someone else.
Right.
And that's hard.
Yeah. And I think all their anger is justified. I don't
honestly,
think
it makes me angry talking about it. So.
Truly, like,
Yeah.
I mean, like Medusa, I'm mad at Athena.
Yeah.
And
which I don't
Fenrir,
wanna
I'm
be.
mad at all of them. And Melusine, I'm mad at her husband. He
Yeah.
just ruined it for everyone else. Like, she was fine.
Things were going really well.
And Sedna, like, her dad is the worst.
Like, why?
And her husband too, but not as much as
like
him.
Figure it out, Titanic it if you have to. Like, you do not have
There is
to
room
just
on that on the door for both of you.
Like,
totally.
truly,
And it just seems like when like the anger is so potent. So like Athena, for example. Like,
well, she got more from her dad than we thought.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
She's more of Zeus than she probably wants to admit.
Yeah.
And it's so much harshly put on like women or people who are considered outsiders. So like even Fenrir is not human. So he's an outsider to begin with, and then he's a giant wolf on top of it. So it's like,
poor guy.
I know. It's terrible.
Leave it to us.
I know.
Like, oh, poor giant wolf.
Yeah, this is kind of not like it's a little bit of a downer episode in that sense. So who gets remembered as the hero?
I think it's very interesting because what we see throughout all of history, like not even just mythology or
no, I mean history.
Is that history favors the victor.
Yes.
And I think
they're the ones who are
people who
considered
are telling
the
the
heroes.
stories, these heroes are gonna always portray these monsters in a certain light.
Sure. And I think the heroes are the ones who are like going along with the system that's already in place.
Yeah, they're playing to the system.
Right. And see us killing Medusa, for example. Like he's just kind of
he was tasked. They handed him all the tools
and then he's called the brave hero, right?
Yeah.
And as we've said, like is it though? Like did she do anything to deserve being killed?
She
Not really. She's protecting herself.
Yeah.
And if she's turning people to stone, they're going to see her knowing
her.
Yeah, they're hunting after her. So same thing with Fenrir, like he's resisting this captivity, but is he actually bad for doing that? Like not really. Like why would you want to be stuck when you haven't done anything wrong?
He's like, wait a second.
Yeah, he hasn't done anything wrong, so why would he? I mean, violence is heroic when it's protecting power. That's the only time that it comes off that way. If if somebody,
war.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Common theme.
Let's go back to our original question.
Yeah.
Monstrous or misunderstood? I mean, I think it's clear that it's kind of both, believe it or not.
We should say both. Yeah.
Because monstrous, I would say monstrous behavior, not necessarily for a bad reason, but I think that they, like, Medusa's turning people to stone. That's not really the nicest thing to do, but she also can't, she's not the reason that she is that to begin with.
She
so
didn't choose that.
Yeah.
And then, Sedna withholding their food, essentially.
Like that's
animal.
her.
It's like, okay, well, treat me a little better.
Yeah.
And
if you treat me nicely, then we'll help you out. No problem.
Mutual respect.
Right.
She asked.
And Melusine, she said, I need my one day, and if you can respect that, then we have no issues here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Poor Fenrir just didn't get even given a chance. That's truly all it is for him.
And I so hate, I can't work past it in my own head that they raised him
from
with
a baby.
The other gods.
I know.
And then we're like, ooh, actually, we don't like you.
Yeah.
And chain you up.
Yeah.
Lock you away.
Yeah, I know.
I'd be pissed too.
Yeah.
You want to talk about making someone angry.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yep. I know. Truly. It's it's something that I had come up with was, is it coincidence, or are we having bias here with our storytelling? Like the pattern is so clear that, and maybe it's just because we're looking at it from a modern lens, and maybe the people of those mythologies are looking at it more objectively, I guess. Like maybe they're seeing Medusa as this a warning sign of what you do when you betray the gods. And, because if they're respecting the gods like what we think.
Which they were worshipped figures, especially Athena.
Yeah.
So I think,
like if you betray Athena, how dare you betray Athena? So so they're viewing her in one way where we can be a little bit more subjective.
That's definitely a piece of it. I think, again, the context here is these people, especially with the Greeks, so valuing that stable power that the gods gave to them.
Yeah. So if they were held to our standard today, I think a lot of these villains are not villains because of their own choice. I think that part is clear. Yeah.
For sure.
So
I think this fits our goddess behavior lens really well.
For sure.
If being uncontainable makes you a monster, if not staying in your box, in your lane, if you will, makes you a monster, then maybe the monster wasn't the problem. Isn't the problem.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
Because monstrosity isn't necessarily just about harm. It's
disruption,
discomfort, and people don't like that.
No, people do not like the status quo.
With that.
Yeah, especially the gods.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, well, that's all we have for today for our monsters, but we would love to hear your guys' opinion.
What you think. Do you have one who deserves a redemption arc, and then maybe one who starts bad, is just bad?
Oh yeah,
a monster.
Like a true villain from the beginning.
Are just monsters from the get-go.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Or maybe turn into the hero, the opposite.
Plot twist.
Yes.
Yeah, we love that.
So
let us know
if there's any myths that come to mind, or folklore for that matter.
Yeah,
please give us some ideas.
We love it.
We love it. All right, till next time. Bye.
Bye.
Next week, we're leaving temples behind.
The gods may rule the sky,
but not every story was written for them.
No thunderbolts, no divine hierarchies.
Just whispers,
ghosts,
and the stories that people told when the gods were not listening.
Because mythology explains the universe,
but folklore teaches you how to survive it.
If you enjoyed this episode, please follow Goddess Behavior and leave a review. It helps other legendary mortals find us.
Questions are always welcome. No oracle required.
Stay bold.
Stay curious.
That's Goddess Behavior.